There's a lot of dishonesty in politics, I will tell you. Tremendous dishonesty. These people are, some of them that we're running against, in particular Senator Cruz, he'll say anything.
Donald Trump on the campaign trail in South Carolina calling Ted Cruz tremendously dishonest. Interesting thing is, his attacks on Ted Cruz seem to be working. A new CNN ORC poll shows that Donald holds a tremendous lead not only in South Carolina, but out in Nevada among GOP voters heading into next Tuesday's caucus out there. Let's take a look at the numbers for Nevada. Trump leads there with 45% of the vote. The next closest candidate is Marco Rubio at 19%. So what can others do, specifically Ted Cruz, to break into Donald's huge numbers? To talk about it, we bring in our panel. Skyping in from Tampa, Democratic media strategist and the Vice President of KateCom Public Relations, Franco Ripple. And from Newsmax, New York, conservative activist and political podcast host, Julio Rivera. Julio, great to have you in tonight on Newsmax Prime. Now let's make it very clear. You're all in for Ted Cruz. So what does Ted have to do to combat what seems to be working for Donald Trump?
Well, to be honest with you, JD, the only thing he needs to do is stay on message. He's been very consistent. He's been the consistent conservative since 2013 when he first stepped into the Senate. Donald Trump has flip-flopped on issues as recently as this week, especially regarding the immigration issue and, more to the point, the issue with the refugees. Donald Trump seems to be the type of candidate to say whatever needs to be said at the moment to either get that popular soundbite or to make news, or even the way he's attacked Cruz in the last debate with the liar comment. Sometimes when you say something enough times, it becomes truth in a weird sort of way, and it sticks in people's minds. But Donald Trump hasn't been transparent at all as far as what his real intentions are. He grabbed a lot of conservatives on the immigration issue. There's a lot of conservatives that are one-issue voters, and since he's actually come out and made the strong proclamation about building a wall and, gathering people up and deporting them, he's flip-flopped saying that, a lot of people can stay, or he would, definitely with the issue.
So the bottom line is, Julio, you're telling us
security people that are worried.
Trump temporizes what he says. He'll say something strong and then go back and modify it a little bit. Let me go to a guy who makes his living with words in terms of public relations, Franco Ripple, albeit for the other side of the aisle. But Franco, I'm just interested. Despite all the imagined difficulties that a lot of people thought Donald Trump was going to have, haven't shown up. Are Democrats ready to take Trump seriously now as a candidate?
Well, first of all, before I get to that, one interesting thing here is that Donald Trump certainly isn't who he says he is. We know that. He's been a Democrat, an independent, a Republican. No one knows for sure what his core beliefs are. But neither is Ted Cruz who he says he is either. And I think he's going to have a real problem with that as Donald Trump puts Ted Cruz's inauthenticity on display. He was a protege of George W. Bush, came up through the Bush network in Texas. He was a George W. Bush appointee, just as much a part of big government as anyone else sitting in government is. Ted Cruz is. So,
now that's a little much. That's a little much, Franco, saying that because he worked in the Bush campaign.
I've got to disagree there.
Go ahead, Julio. Go ahead.
No, I definitely got to disagree there. I mean, he's shown that he's a pure constitutionalist from the moment that he stepped on the Senate floor. He hasn't played ball with the moderates. You want to talk about somebody who's willing to play ball? I mean, Donald Trump is the epitome of a politician, somebody who's been putting money in the pockets of politicians for years. The only thing missing from his resume is a 20-plus year run in Congress. But to call Ted Cruz not authentic is nothing could be further from the truth at this point. I mean, he's shown it day in, day out. He didn't go there to make friends. He went there to change the country.
Let me hop in here. Let me hop in here, Franco, because we'd be remiss in the minute and a half that remains not to talk about your side of the aisle. And I just have to ask you, right now in Nevada, it's a dead heat. You're supporting Hillary, but man, she is feeling the burn. It is dead even there. Are you still all in for Hillary?
I'm more than all in. I'm with her. And here's why. It's not as close as it seems. Yes, I understand this recent tracking poll came out that showed it, a 1-point race. But if you look actually at 538, who has most reliably called all of these races dating back several cycles now, they've gone from being a 50-50 split, Hillary and Sanders, to today upgrading it to a 69% likelihood that Hillary Clinton wins the Nevada caucus. Why? I think in large part because in that same poll that you're talking about, 25% of Nevada caucus goers are undecided. And when you ask them who they favor on the issues, they're overwhelmingly for Hillary Clinton. 55 to 39% on health care, they rate her. 69% to 28% on foreign policy. They trust her to be commander-in-chief. Those people are going to break for Hillary in the caucus.
No offense, Franco, but the more you try to spin this thing, I think the more trouble we're finding for Hillary. At any rate, we're going to have to leave it there. Julio, great to have you in from New York. Franco, as always, good to see you down in Tampa. Let's do it again real soon. You heard what these two gentlemen had to say. Agree or disagree? Send us your comments at newsmaxtv.com/comments. Right back after this.